Hi guys, this is my quick review of the HP Spectre 13. It's the 13-3010eg version, and this is the highest spec version. It has a i7 4500U, 8GB of RAM, a 256GB SSD storage, and all the other stuff, Wi-Fi, AC, all the other stuff. But you might ask, why is it just a quick review? Let me try to explain this. The first moment I picked this device up, I hold it in my hand. What did I think? I thought. But this was my second impression when I opened the device the first time. Ow. And this is because of that. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. I have a bad defect with the screen, and this keeps me from doing a full review. It's okay for me. I made a quick review. I used it for 2 full days, and I want to share my thoughts about it. So let's continue with that. Looking at the device, you will see it's made of aluminum, and it feels pretty nice, pretty heavy and sturdy. And the weird thing is, it weighs only 100 grams more than the Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro, but it feels so much heavier. It's really weird, but doesn't really matter. Let's look on the right side. We have the port for charging, a full HDMI, a mini display port, a USB 3.0 port. At the front we don't really have anything. On the left side we have a full-size SD card slot, pretty nice. Headphone jack, combined one with the microphone, a USB 3.0 port, and a Kensington lock. Like I said, the device, the speakers are here at the bottom. I will tell you more about those. Like I said, it feels pretty nice. One thing I really would wish for it to be better are the sharp edges. And this is weird. I don't really get why manufacturers do this, because when I type, I hold my hands like this and I type, and you always scrub against this sharp edge. And I don't think anyone who designs such devices really thinks about how you even use the device, because why don't you just round it a bit? It wouldn't be any problem. I don't think this is expected too much. For the keyboard itself is absolutely brilliant. If you saw my Logitech K810 review, this is almost at the same level. You have a bit less key travel, but the layout itself is absolutely nice. You have the full-size keys for the arrows. You have a nice layout, pretty big buttons, a nice layout, and it really feels comfortable typing. And so far this is the best Ultrabook keyboard I've tested, and I've tested a lot in the shops. And immediately when I used it, I felt really nice about it. About the screen itself, I'm pretty happy with the screen itself. Nothing really to complain here. But there's one thing, the colors are nice, the sharpness is really good. It's a QHD with 2560 by 1440. So it's higher than Full HD. It's not QHD plus, but still a really nice display, really sharp. The colors are great. But there's one thing I not really completely like. It is the brightness. The device can get pretty bright, as you can see here, but for me it loses a bit too much brightness while tilting. You have only the full 100% of brightness if you look straight on, and I'm not always looking at the same angle, and it always varies as you look at it. That's why you need more than I would think, because it really dims pretty fast. You have to always, I had to use it always at maybe 80% at least to get a nice bright level, because it just dims too fast. You can't see that much on the video, but it just dims too fast. But otherwise the display is definitely one of the better ones. I'm absolutely happy. Nothing to complain here. There's one thing, if I quickly show you, the scaling of windows, it is pretty weird, because yeah, everything is quite small. All the dialogues and everything. You have to get used to that. But I think there are worse things. It works. It was a bit weird when I had dual monitor, when I hooked it up to my 1080p monitor. On one always were different sizes, and it was a bit weird. I thought Windows 8.1 would allow different DPIs for different screens, but somehow I didn't get it to work. I did get it to work on all the other devices, but maybe I just did something wrong here. But as you can see, this is pretty small. As for the sound, the HP uses Beats technology, so let's hear what it can offer. This is 100%.
Okay, my first thought, the sound is pretty nicely balanced, the treble isn't too bad, it's pretty nice. There is a slightly bit of bass, the mids are okay, so overall the sound is pretty okay. It could be slightly higher in terms of volume, but definitely one of the better ones. I didn't hear too many Ultrabooks, but so far I'm pretty nicely okay with it. As for the performance, as you can see here, this is Chrome, and if I scroll, you will see it sometimes struggles slowly while it's loading, but otherwise it's pretty snappy. Of course, Internet Explorer is still way faster. As you can see, this is so much smoother, and there's really nothing to compare on any touchscreen device that uses Windows that can keep up with Internet Explorer. It is just the fastest. Chrome is nice, but it feels at least 10 frames or 20 frames slower. It is smooth, yes, sure, but it can't get this. It can't get that level. Huh? It can't get the level of Internet Explorer. Also, the loading times are slower. But my main problem is Firefox. Let's take a look at the same site. You see how much longer it needs to load. And this is something that really bugs me. But now check the scrolling. This pisses me off here. This is a $1,200 or even $1,300 device, and it can't even get Firefox to properly scroll. It is okay, but not really enjoyable. If you check this and then take a look at this, this is just not okay. Because Firefox is my default browser on my desktop, because all of the extensions, I really like them. But eventually I will have to switch to Chrome, because Chrome offers me a nice level of extensions, but still is smooth. There is some kind of rendering problem with the text though. If you can see here, the text looks slightly grainy, but it doesn't look that well on the Internet Explorer. I don't know how well you can see this. As you can see here, this is sharp, and on Chrome everything is slightly fuzzy, but enough for that. Otherwise, the performance, I tried Cyberlink Power Director, as I said, it renders about at 120%, 110% of real speed. So if you have a file that is maybe 4 minutes long, it should render maybe in 3.5 minutes. So that is not as bad compared to my i7 on my desktop, which will need maybe not even 1.5 minutes. So it renders in about 300% of real time. This is with 120. It's absolutely workable. It works fine. So you can video render, you can photo edit with this. This is no problem. For a mobile device it's nice, but still the 4500U isn't the powerhouse I thought it would be, because you pay a lot of money for this, and the performance, it doesn't really offer me that much more than all that Windows 8.1 tablets I used, even the Intel Bay Trail one. The Intel Bay Trail one could easily scroll that fast as well. This was no problem, it was the same. All the modern UI apps, they are also the same level. The only things you will notice a difference will be maybe games if you do some, but heavy gaming isn't possible here as well. And mostly you will notice it maybe at PowerLink, but even there it wasn't that bad on the Intel Bay Trail. But okay, here we have the superior device for the video rendering and photo editing if you want to do it on the fly. But if you only want to do casual media, surf, browse and do office documents, the Bay Trail ones do this as well. Okay, here we have better multitasking capabilities, a few more ports and a slightly more robust and really premium feel. But is this worth 1,300 euros, which would be about $1,600 or $1,700? I don't think. Of course, you get a big screen with 13.3 inch and a high resolution. But if I want to do office documents, the 10.8 inch of the, let's say, Dell Venue 11 Pro is fairly enough for me. And I even think, because I wanted to use this Ultrabook as my main blogging device, but I just can't pay that much money for what I'm getting. I really think I would rather buy the Intel Bay Trail version of the Dell Venue 11 Pro with the keyboard docking station, or use my Logitech K810. I only would like to have the docking station because I can use it as a real laptop, because I have then a stand which I won't have with my keyboard. But otherwise I can't accept the money you're paying more for what you're getting. If you really need it, okay, maybe, I don't know, if you want a premium feel, the better display and everything. But the display on the Dell Venue was nice as well. Compared to the Surface Pro, I really not the biggest fan of the Surface Pro 2 because of the display. It just was too grainy in my opinion. But otherwise it is pretty much on the same performance level. So if you want, but it's also not really cheaper, because this is 256 gigabyte and the 256 gigabyte version is even more expensive than this one. So before I would buy the Surface Pro 2, then I would buy this. But like I said, for me it just doesn't offer enough. If it would be my standalone device, then the Dell Venue 11 Pro wouldn't be enough for me. But I have a desktop and I only need it for blogging and such stuff, for the media consumption. So a tablet that can be converted into a desktop station is more the better choice for me. And there I don't need a power. But if I would need a standalone device, then this wouldn't be powerful enough for my wishes, because then I will have Firefox. And I don't want to keep up with this performance. If I have a tablet like the Dell Venue, then I'm okay with using Chrome and with the performance. But if it would be my main device, then not, because why should I pay 3 times more to get maybe 10% of real life experience or user experience more? So I don't really want to drag this too long. I'm still, like I said, premium build, solid performance for an Ultrabook. That is not the issue. Have 8 GB. The SSD storage is pretty fast, about I don't even know, about 400 megabytes of read and write, something about that. The display is pretty nice, the sound is pretty nice. So if you want a premium feel, let's take not the defect screen into consideration, then you get a nice device, but it's just too expensive. If I would want something like this, then I would rather pay maybe half the price and get a 15-inch device which has better components, or the same components but for less money, because this is just too expensive for what you're getting, in my opinion. Okay, compared to all the other ones, it is nicely fairly priced. The Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro costs about the same and doesn't even have the i7, just the i5, but therefore you get a lighter device that is usable even as a tablet, which this one definitely isn't, because this is the maximum you can go back. This is a bit this is not enough for me, not usable as a tablet. So this is my quick review, my first impressions of the HP Spectre 13. Like I said, it's only a first impression video, not really a review. These are my thoughts. I will ship this back and I won't replace it. I wanted to keep it. It is not because of the screen. It is just too heavy for what I would get for. So this will go back. I want my money, and I will rather buy something that is cheaper but does almost the same thing. So this is for my quick review of the HP Spectre 13-3010eg. I hope you liked the review. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, reshare this video. Until next time.
I'll be back.